Hi, I'm Pat Kiernan. Thanks for joining us for Pat's Papers, a look at what's in the nation's newspapers, a summary of some of the most relevant, the most interesting stories. Let's begin here in New York.
Barack Obama is fit for office. It's the front page declaration from the New York Post, which puts the president-elect on the front page as he continues his vacation in Hawaii. The story goes on to call him Ab-Bama, with him looking more like a relaxed beachgoer than the next president. Obama isn't all vacation, though. He continues work on his transition from Hawaii. The papers are hammering him with editorials and columns about his decision to have Pastor Rick Warren at the inauguration. In the Washington Post, columnist E.J. Dionne Jr. says Obama has alienated some on the left, and by accepting Warren has enraged some on the right. Richard Cohen writes a piece published directly below Dionne's piece, talking about how Obama's choice has ruined the party for his sister, an Obama volunteer who has been in a same-sex partnership for 19 years. Warren has publicly compared gay marriage to child abuse, incest, and polygamy. There are words of support for Obama's choice. The editorial in the Dallas Morning News today argues Warren is thoroughly mainstream. To the winter weather, the front page of the New York Times features a particularly frosty photo of some passengers getting on a train near Buffalo. Only half jokingly, just 2 days before Christmas, the caption calls that train the Polar Express. The unusually snowy and cold weather continues in the Pacific Northwest. The Seattle Times says about 100 Greyhound bus passengers were sent to homeless shelters after the company canceled all service to Seattle. Nearly a foot of snow has piled up there. There is some local controversy there over how the city's dealing with the snow. Seattle shies away from using salt on its roads because of the impact on the water in Puget Sound. City crews drop a lot of sand instead to try to give drivers some traction, but drivers have been struggling, including Seattle's own police officers, who have a fleet mostly of rear-wheel drive cars. Before I leave the topic of the weather, not quite so cold in Southern California. The LA Times with a photo of a surfing Santa, 58-year-old Michael Pless, catching some waves at Seal Beach Pier. On to somewhere people have traditionally moved to escape weather in the north. The Sun Belt population boom is over. That report, as USA Today analyzes census data. The story says for the first time since the 1970s, more people are leaving Florida than are moving in. Politically, this analysis shows Texas is a winner in the population trends lately. It would gain 3 seats in the House of Representatives if today's numbers were used in a reallocation. The story's getting a lot of attention this morning, as seen here in the Philadelphia Inquirer. Author Ian Halperin has released a report that says Michael Jackson is close to death. The author says the former king of pop suffered from a potentially fatal lung condition. Halperin says Jackson can barely speak and is virtually blind in his left eye. Jackson's people are denying the claims, saying he's in fine health and is in fact finalizing plans for a world tour. Toyota says it's an emergency that it has never experienced, the company predicting its first annual loss since 1938. Most of the coverage lately of the auto industry has been focusing on problems in Detroit, but the Wall Street Journal says this is a reminder that problems in the industry are worldwide. Sales in Japan, for example, at a 31-year low. Shoplifting arrests are up this year, a 10 to 20% increase, according to a front-page story in the New York Times. That story cites 2 main reasons for the increase, both related to the economy. One is the first-time offender, usually someone who's struggling financially. The other is the organized shoplifting ring, which, thanks to the internet, can easily find a market for whatever is stolen. Again, the newspapers in Denver are following up on Saturday's plane crash. The Rocky Mountain News reports 2 passengers recall a Continental Airlines gate agent telling them just before they boarded that mechanics were trying to fix a problem with their rear turbines. Continental Airlines is disputing that this conversation took place. The Environmental Protection Agency has added 15 new cities to its list of cities with bad air in America. The Miami Herald says that list of 46 cities now covers places 100 million Americans live. Newly listed: Juneau, Alaska, Seattle, Green Bay, Salt Lake City, and Milwaukee. Diesel trucks and wood heaters are among the big culprits. Music videos used to just be the way that record companies promoted their CD sales, but the LA Times reports on growing tension between music labels and websites that feature videos. Warner Music Group asked YouTube to remove its videos. All of the major labels are trying to negotiate new deals with websites, hoping to bring in about $300 million in revenue. CD sales are down again this year. They're down 45% compared to the year 2000. From the Health Journal column in the Wall Street Journal, an argument that it's a bad idea to schedule a birth early out of convenience. That's often done at this time of year. The story says new research shows the last weeks of pregnancy are more important than once thought for brain, lung, and liver development. If the kids are home from school and need something to do, today's Tampa Tribune has a recommended reading list for kids on their holiday break. The list is made up mostly of Christmas books, but includes titles for other holiday celebrations too. For kids between pre-K and second grade, one of the picks is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And we all need companionship over the holidays. In Berlin, as reported in the Chicago Sun-Times, a 37-year-old man jumped into the bear enclosure at the zoo to visit Canute. The famous polar bear isn't so little anymore, but the man decided that Canute looked lonely. Zookeepers moved quickly. They used a leg of beef to distract Canute long enough for the man to reconsider his decision to visit the bear.
And that'll do it for this morning. We can never get to it all, so if you think there is a particular story we've missed that we should have included in the summary, please send us a comment. And you can always go online to our website, patspapers.com. Scroll down from the main video report where you will find links to each of the stories that we have featured on the morning report. See you again next time.